Welcome to the Software People Stories. I'm Shiv.
I'm Chitra.
And I'm Gayatri.
We bring you interesting, untold stories of people
Associated with the creation
Or consumption of software-based solutions.
You'll hear stories of what worked,
and sometimes what didn't,
you will also hear very personal experiences.
and insights that would trigger your thoughts
And inspire you to do even greater things. Hi, in this two-part episode, I'm going to introduce Rohit Salecha, Senior Security Manager for Disney+Hotstar, as well as a very great author of the book that I've read personally, GitOps, about GitOps. And he talks about his journey so far in terms of learning, writing good software, and moving to security, moving to DevOps, and learning each and every block of DevOps pipeline, and continuously looking at upgrading oneself. I think the areas that he talks about with so much passion, you will really like to learn yourself each and every part of what he's doing and what all challenges he went through. Listen on. Hi, Rohit. Good evening. Thank you for joining Software People Stories podcast.
Hi, Gayatri. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity.
Rohit, I know Rohit because I read your book, GitOps, Terraform, and I loved your book. So I think that's how we got connected. And for our listeners, can you introduce yourself, Rohit?
Sure. So, I'm Rohit Salecha. I'm working as an engineering manager at Disney+Hotstar, and I've been in the cybersecurity industry for the past 12 years now. I've dabbled with various different domains of cybersecurity, that is web application security, API security, cloud infrastructure security, and just very recently I've been quite intrigued and interested by the entire infrastructure as code domain as well, because it really it's sort of unbelievable as to how you can just write a few lines of code and set up a huge Kubernetes system on cloud.
Excellent. Rohit, we normally start the podcast with what got you started. I mean, can you give your little bit of introduction as to what was your early memory of software? Is it post-college, pre-college, or even earlier than that? And I know you're in the security or infrastructure business. Are there any interesting stories that got you started?
To start with, actually, I was when I was studying for my engineering preparations, I wanted to actually get into mechanical engineering because I was quite interested about heavy machinery and big planes and stuff like that. But because of my marks or my limited options, I chose to get into electronics engineering. So I did my bachelor's of engineering in electronics. So my very first stint with software started with C++, which is for any engineer, in India, right? And it was really interesting, really amazed me. Especially, I actually liked C++ more than C because there was less pointer arithmetic in there.
Agree. Null pointer exception will be
Yes.
linked list and all of that was a nightmare.
Right. But then soon software engineering left me in first year of engineering itself, because then there was core concepts of electronics and everything, VLSI and stuff like that. But then again in third and fourth year of engineering, I started with VHDL, which is again a very low level language for designing electronic systems. So again, basically, I was learning VHDL and very VLSI and everything, and I was very much interested in all these domains. I was so passionate about electronics that I actually sat for the exam for BITS Pilani, and I wanted to get into Masters of Microelectronics, which is a very specialized program in BITS Pilani. I cracked the exam, I got through, but unfortunately, they said that that my last semester exam results should be out before 27th of July, 2009, I think it was. But my semester results were not out till then, and they had to cancel my admission because of that. And that really sort of set me back, right? Fortunately, during my campus placements itself, I had an offer from Mastek, but as you know, it was 2009, 2010, the recession era, right?
I
So
remember. Okay.
yes. So all the placements and everything were being deferred, and I really didn't have much choice. So I started again learning about software because now I knew that I am going to get into the software industry. So I again started brushing up a bit about Java. I joined a few classes for Java, etc. But and then finally in July 2010, I started my journey with Mastek, where I joined in as a software developer for Java. And during my tenure over there, I learned how Java works and how do you develop applications in Java and in J2ME, various different things. I got to work on some critical projects like the Mahara Lottery project. You must have heard about, right?
Okay.
The
Okay. Nice.
Yes. So, yeah, so you can understand the criticality of that project, right? And that's where at Mastek, like when we were doing all this software development, there was a lot of collaboration with the security team, right? And that's where basically I got interested in security. And then during that time itself, I used to catch up with the security team at Mastek and ask them how can I get into this field, right? And we had a good library at Mastek as well. So I used to sit in the library after office and read about security, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and so on. And soon enough, I got very much interested. Basically, after good information about coding and about security, I started applying for core security jobs, right? And luckily, I landed on a unique opportunity where they wanted someone who had experience in writing code in Java and who knew about security, right? So I was basically
Nice.
fitting at the right
Perfect fit.
place, at the right perfect fit, yeah. And I still remember it was Tawfiq Ali who had interviewed me, who was my mentor at NII as well. So at NII, so I basically moved to this firm called as NII, or Network Intelligence India, and that was, I would say, one of the most fabulous years of my information security practice as well. I learned a lot. There was an amazing team. Tawfiq, Sunil, Prahlad, Shrikant, Pankit, like everybody, like it was amazing, right? We used to, anybody gets a good finding view, everybody used to huddle around and try to get a good impact out of it. So it was really amazing. So this is where the entire security journey of mine started, and then I dabbled a bit with the risk part of it. That is, joined EY, and I was doing a lot of IT audit from a security perspective. And then I had an opportunity to work at one of the biggest banks in UAE as a full-time security consultant within the bank itself. Uh, and then I came back to India and I joined a firm called as Not So Secure, for where I would say I thrived in a lot of different domains. So at Not So Secure, I had the opportunity to learn about not just security, but also developing trainings on application security for developers. Again, my software development background again came to use over here
Okay.
because now I was teaching security to developers, right? How you can basically build secure software, secure applications, right? And during that time, again, I wanted to level up because application security was becoming was something I was very much comfortable with, right? and I wanted to level up. And that is when I started learning about DevOps and cloud,
Okay.
right? And in 2018, I released a project called DevOps Lab, because when I started learning about DevOps, right, it was all people were talking about pieces of DevOps. Like, okay, this is Docker, this is Jenkins, there is Ansible, there is Terraform, there is Vagrant, right? But nobody was talking about how to bring all of these together, right? How all these technologies work in tandem, right? And that's where I released this lab, because this lab was bringing all of these technologies together, like how you could actually build an entire CI/CD pipeline through Jenkins and deploy it in Docker, right? So that was a very amazing experience for me, because after I developed that, so basically Not So Secure gave me this opportunity to develop this lab and everything.
As
And
part of
on
Not So
top of,
Secure. So DevOps Labs
yes,
was as
yes.
part of Not So Secure. Okay, got it.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Not So Secure actually gave me the time and the resources that are needed to, learn this entire domain, right? They even sponsored me a lot of trainings and stuff like that. And then after learning about it, then I basically developed a lab in DevSecOps, basically, which started off as a 1 day training and then moved into a 2 day format. And we started delivering this training at a lot of conferences and a lot of client locations. Basically, after attaining a level of maturity with DevSecOps and the entire DevOps piece, uh, I still did not feel satiated. Still, because there was still a major, what you can say, a pin or a prick that was there in my mind was Kubernetes, because 2018 was the first time that I heard the term Kubernetes, right? There was this guy who was working for Not So Secure, and he was leaving. So one fine day, like he was saying that, hey, it's my last day. I'm like, okay, fine. Where are you going? So he said he's going to some other company where he will get to learn about Kubernetes. I'm like, okay, what is Kubernetes? So I started searching about it, and I started talking to my mentor and my manager at that time, Anand Srivastav, and he tried to explain me a bit about what Kubernetes is, right? But I still did not, was not really getting there, right? So I started again investing time in learning about Kubernetes and learning about cloud. I did my certified Kubernetes administrator course, and then at Not So Secure, I got a very good opportunity to work on a lab that involved developing some that were that where I had to develop a lab, an entire training lab on Kubernetes, right? So that was again a mind-blowing opportunity I had, which moved me into the entire direction of learning Terraform, Kubernetes, and so on, right? And this is where I would say, as I started as a Java software developer, and then slowly moved doing a small Bash and Python scripting, and then finally I got into learning of Terraform. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, I am loving this. I have so many questions that I want to ask through this. I mean, first is I think the whole path about interested in security, interested in getting yourself leveling up, as we call it, right, in game theory. You actually increase your proficiency. So, couple of questions I have in terms of when you were looking at in Not So Secure. Not So Secure is a startup, right? In training and consulting as well. So
It was a startup when I had joined.
okay, okay, it isn't. Oh, yeah, it's scaled right now.
It's
Okay,
it's quite matured and scaled right now.
okay, okay,
It's at a very
awesome.
good level.
So, see, as a young professional, right? What are the things that will that made you join a startup? Earlier, if I look at your profile, till Not So Secure, all of your experiences have been in the slightly more mature organizations. What made you join a startup world?
So the decision to move to not so secure, I would say, was based on just two individuals, I would say. One was who were already working there. One was Sunil Yadav, who was my mentor at NII Consulting, and another was Anand Srivastav, who was already working there. And everybody in the Null community knew who Anand Srivastav was, right? Like, one of the, you can say, one of the very few infosec leaders who are, great at doing anything, right? Anything in security or absolutely anything you can, speak to Anant about. So yeah, so primarily, I joined Not So Secure based on these individuals
Fantastic.
because they
So
were already working over
you're
there.
already
So
working
I
on
knew I was in, yeah, I knew I would be in good hands. So yeah.
perfect. And, what is this not so secure as a term? I mean, obviously it's a idiosyncratic, right? It means that you are actually giving security. But any interesting stories there that you want to share?
So Not So Secure was it was started by Sid and Dan way back, I think in 2013 or 2015, not sure the exact dates. But it was basically focusing on application security, infrastructure security, and doing all good assessments, red teaming, and such like total research based security assessments is what it was properly focused on. So along with that, from whatever we learned from our research, we developed trainings on those topics. So I think it was 2017 or 2018 at Black Hat. We were running around 5 to 6 trainings with the total headcount of attendees going above 500. So
Wow. Okay.
our trainings, yes. So the reason why the trainings were so popular because it was hands-on and it was coming out from real research world, right? That we were doing. So yeah, it was really how we would describe what our work at Not So Secure was is that we hack and we teach.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, when you moved to Disney, I know you moved pretty recently. I also know that you published a book. Would like to first know more about your book writing experience. What made you write a book? I think well-written book, very practical in terms of applications and everything. Teaching is one thing, consulting is another, developing is another. But of course, writing needs a different level of discipline, perseverance, as well as you also have to have a marketing skills to go to the market and do it right. What made you do that, and what sort of skills did you have to learn for that?
Yeah. So the DevOps project that I had developed, right, I felt it was incomplete and I was not satiated with it. So I wanted to basically look at how things would work in a cloud environment, right? Like how I can spin up an entire cloud environment and deploy code and deploy an entire running application at cloud, right? And that's what I learned. So my primary aim for learning that was to learn Terraform and to learn Terraform, to learn AWS, and to learn Kubernetes. These three technologies is where I thought I was lagging, and the world is very fast
Right.
moving towards these technologies, right? And this is where I thought about. So once I learned all this, when I started joining the pieces like Terraform, AWS, Kubernetes, and everything, that's where I learned about. That's where I thought of writing this book called Practical GitOps, right? And the reason why I called it as Practical GitOps is because I wanted to have everything revolving around Git. So it's quite confusing, the word GitOps, right? Like GitOps actually means a lot more than what I've written in my book, right?
Right.
It has like 4 different principles, right? It's pretty advanced. But what I have written in my book is very simple. Is It's just how you can basically manage and operate everything through Git. That is, through your SCM, right? Deploying your infrastructure, deploying your application, injecting security in your application, everything through Git, right? So it's
Everything is a
basically
code.
Git and operation. Yeah,
Basically, everything
everything
is a
as
code
code.
and everything
Yes.
is software managed. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, so that's where I basically wrote this book. Like I had to, I did spend quite a lot of nights writing this book, correcting it. Not the hurdle, but major limitation was not a limitation also, but a challenge that I was facing was when I was writing the book, right? Every day Terraform like almost every 2 or 3 weeks Terraform was getting updated, right? Like version 1 release, version 2 release, and the modules also that I was using, right? I was using the Terraform modules primarily, especially the major modules on VPC and EKS, right? They were also getting updated again and again and again and again. So I remember I started with module 12.0, I think, of EKS, and ultimately by the end of the book, I had to move it to module 14, right?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I don't want
That
my
itself would have
audience
been a
to.
project.
Yes, yes, yes. That was really challenging, right? Because I didn't want my audience to have a very lower version. So when I started the book in October 2021, it was like I would say things were at X minus 5, and when I released it was at X, and now it is at X plus 5. So so yeah, that was one of the major challenges that was there. But once I completely wrote the book, the once I completely wrote the code, right? It was only a matter of describing the code in my book, right? So writing that entire code was a challenge, and the code here was involving a small application which is getting deployed on AWS EKS infrastructure, having a database and having a load balancer and having a Route 53 DNS to map the load balancer name with the DNS entry, and getting up the entire observability stack, deploying Prometheus, Grafana, deploying yeah, OpenSearch for logging, Prometheus Grafana for performance monitoring. Basically, all the basic software that is needed in a proper application that you're deploying in a cloud environment, right? Like almost everything, like secrets manager as well, right? Like how you can dynamically fetch a secret from a pod from AWS secrets manager, right? Like
Yeah,
uh,
to connect all of them.
yeah,
I love the whole part around where you connect everything. So when I
yeah.
was reading this, right, one of the questions I was having is, um, as well as when you're talking about having an electronics background, um, have you done this sort of a thing in an IoT or a middleware sort of an environment, or are you looking at doing something like that? In this episode, we heard Rohit talk about his journey of upskilling himself and having a penchant for learning one step at a time and every module block by block. And after he spoke about his book, now I have stopped at a point where we will talk about where he's going to take this knowledge and where are the various ways in which he's going to apply in the next episode. Can't wait for the next one.
We thank Siddharth for the music and Anita for promoting the Software People stories.
If you like this episode,
Please subscribe on your favorite podcast client.
And spread the word in your network.
if you'd like to share your story,
Contact us at podcasts@pm-powerconsulting.com.